the light come on?
It's picking it up as a voltage.
It's picking it up as voltage because all the meters read is AC current between 50 and 60 hertz. So it's mimicking what we're doing effectively. It's dropped. So we had the connection between, and now it's dropped off. There you go. Right, okay.
Is that a wavelength thing?
Could be. What the? Right. Well, we've not. This is new. This is we're.
Yeah.
That's like a connect. I can feel that.
Yeah.
What's making the whistle?
Just the sensor.
It's just the sensor on that. Just a sound sensor.
Did you make that sensor? Or
No, you can buy that at any electrical shop. It's just a voltmeter. It's just a voltmeter.
You can get different ones. There's like this one that bleeps. It just. But that one looks a bit fancier, so we remember that one.
So that's picking up an electromagnetic field.
Yeah, if you read on them, it basically says picks up between 50 and 1,000 volts AC between 50 and 60 hertz. So that's the range that it can only read. So it's basically picking up the frequency of the AC current, but we're transmitting it as like a plasma field between us. Yeah,
well, that seems to be the sort of interconnection between the Gans field and the electromagnetic field, right?
It's picking up a voltage effect that's created by the plasma.
It's like
plasma.
plasma.
There's a blurry line between these two fields.
Yes, this is like subtle electricity, chi, and the only difference between this and that is that's more matter state.
Yeah.
The electrical fields going through the wires. But arguably not even matter state.
I think what's key to note is that plasma is intelligent, and what Mr. Kesh says, it works off intention. So when they talk about introducing this technology into anti-gravity vehicles and craft, then you'll put an intention of where you want to go, and it will take you to the destination because you've got you know where you want it. So it's more of a higher conscious technology. It's interactive with our being, and that's so what it's doing. It's mimicking. It's understanding what energy is being used, and it's copying it. So that's why.
Is it a Magrav you got there?
Yeah.
That's a homemade one. That was one.
Is it connected to the mains, or what's getting?
Yeah, it's got the lead coming in, so it's getting power going through it. But it's the same. It's coming off the same wire that was only giving a small field, because that's the electricity. That's then going through that, and then that's amplifying it. Yeah.
And of course, you wouldn't want that voltage going through your body if it were electric.
No, or else you'd be getting a shock, and that's why it's that's the
friend to
touch
feel
that. Oh. It's pretty cool, yeah?
And again, I can feel it. I'm getting like a rush, a bliss rush, if you will, coming through. Fantastic. Oh, it's dropped a bit now. I can't feel it now. We've lost it. That was a connection.
I need to be closer to him.
I don't know if you touch. You will do. Oh, yeah. Well, it works. It worked temperamental. Now we want to do it. I've lost my rise because it was coming up. I could feel it. Yeah, so it's still doing it off that. Yeah.
So does it come off your fingers?
Yeah.
This looks like chi.
Yeah. Well, this is we're basically demonstrating probably chi energy with modern instruments as well. So it's a case of I suppose.
Yeah.
We're kind of demonstrating that.
So it always goes out of point, like you said about the insect.
Yes. That's what our fingers are for.
It's fingers and hair. It's like long hair. That's why the ancient Indians grew the hair long, because you're drawing in from the field, and that's key. That's one of the things I've been researching recently. And it's like the Samson and Delilah type. A lot of the legend and myth stories are more truth in them than we believe. Than we're led to believe. So there's a lot of inversion in our current reality that we have to correct, I think, and put straight. So Well, yeah. Any further questions? Anything else before we start building?
One here.
Oh,
I have two questions. You talk about, you mentioned that, and then you can see what Gans is good for you or work with you. What do you mean by that?
Was there something you said? But
You
what?
said,
Okay, which GANs work?
once you make it and then you see,
Yeah.
which ones work for you. Did I get that?
Maybe, or there is the list of generically which ones do what for you.
Yeah, what does it
The-
mean? What do you mean by that?
So whether the CO2 and the zinc, the two main ones, connect with the nervous system and the emotional system.
And how would you know which one works for you?
They do. Those two work for everyone. If they're good at connect with you, they work for everybody. Because our nervous system and emotional system states are where the imbalance that creates disease originates. And so it's working at that level and helps to rebalance those.
So let's say one piece, whatever you call
Yeah.
instrument there, with the Gans in there. Can you use it for everyone or just one person?
Yeah, that's a good question about sharing health patches or pain pens. Jonathan, you're probably best placed to discuss that. Or tomorrow.
Oh.
We're doing health patches tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow.
We could do that. Should we do health patches tomorrow? Most people are here for 2 days. Yeah.
And you put the banana on the...
Yeah.
And what you mean, so the banana replacing the intention of human being?
Yeah, the banana, if it's the field of the banana, if you want to have the banana field, you put the banana on the feeding system and the water captures the energy
The banana.
information of the banana.
And why would we want that banana's information?
So you could, once it's charged that water, you don't have to eat the banana and you can have that water forever.
So you don't
It's
have
like-
to eat banana, just drink water. Oh, I see.
it's
Yeah,
like replicator.
you can feed the 5,000. It's that, one banana, you charge the water for 5,000.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
There must be a link here then with breatharianism.
Yes,
Because
yes.
and I know there's a doctor in the UK, Dr. Graham Downing, who's actually said he's found and seen mechanisms within the body that actually prove quite clearly if we have the emotional and the nervous system,
Yeah.
and we get the different bodies working harmoniously, we actually do not need to eat.
Yeah.
I'm long-term fasting, and I know that first you have to go through those processes, but maybe that is a synthesis of what we were just talking about there. You see it and you actually eat it without
It's great for weight loss, yeah?
No.
When you do that, you do not lose weight.
Yeah.
It's a misnomer.
Yeah, you actually revert to your natural weight.
Yeah. You revert.
No
You-
question. So that's wonderful, actually. It's great. And so
Great
when you
diet.
said that you put the thing in, whatever, copper, you're not talking about that one, and then you spray the plasma onto it. Like, for example,
Yeah.
with the water pump, right?
You
Put
Put,
the,
put the plasma in the pipe.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you spray the plasma. Do you have to keep spraying the plasma, or just one go?
On the plant. Where in the pipe, it's always got the Gans in the pipe. So in the water charging system,
Yeah,
the coils
for
around the pipe. The Gans is sealed in there. The plasma water is sealed inside the pipe. The coil around the pipe. But if you're spraying plants, then yes, you can redo it.
No, but you said that, you like that one you have there.
That stays in.
That's the, but if it's not protected by the plastic there, then you have to spray it all the time, just like that cocoon.
The cocoon you'd respray,
Yeah,
yes,
spray
because it
all
dries
the
out.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Doesn't respond to the sensor.
No, the Gans. Well, these ones did, but I think it's because they were picking up the field from the table. It's still on. See, some of them do conduct and some don't. So, we're always finding stuff out here. And that's cork. Yeah, cork shouldn't have a 70-volt field on it. So, yeah, it's all discovery.
How does the Magrav work?
How does Magrav work?
Basically, because you've got the nano-coating materials and then the Gans coated on the coils, you've got the electrical current going through, but the actual the actual Magrav's absorbing energy within the field, because they say, if you watch Dr. Stephen Greer on Serious Disclosure or Unacknowledged, he does lectures where he says there's enough energy in the square centimetre to power the planet for a day. You know, this is like the field that we're sat in is full of energy, and we're not tapping into it. And this Magrav kind of is a capture of that energy. It kind of absorbs the fields that are going through it and converts it into plasma. But we're using an electrical current to. We're basically trying to integrate new plasma technology into our old AC dangerous electricity, because this is not dangerous energy to us, but electricity is.
Did you make that Magrav yourself or buy it?
I made that one myself, and I got involved and listened to the initial blueprints when they came out and the theory of it, and it made sense to me because how the planet spins and how the sun and all the other planets. But the demonstration I wanted to give, well, you'll see the video, is to do with building these systems in line with the universal laws, which are the growth rate, the Fibonacci ratio, or the spiral that you saw before with Oliver's presentation with the spiral. That's like the spiral that if you tap into sacred geometries and key like the Fibonacci sequence, which runs through 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Yeah, you're hitting those numbers, numerologies, and so important. But on a simple level, it doesn't need to be, rocket science and massive calculations. It's good to prove on that level, but I think if we tap into the fundamentals of what knowledge we've not been given, which is simplified, kids can pick it up really quick, and it's a lot more to offer than certain teachings that we get given. So yeah, so the two coils are 89 and 144 on my particular model. Mr. Kesh does 81 and 144 because he stays to the power of 9. But I go with 89 because you've got infinity, and then you've got the first, and this is what Nikola Tesla said, understand the power of 3, 6 and 9, because 3 and 6 added together equals 9, and basically that's the universal growth, but also in sacred geometry terms and pentagon, you break the angles down and they'll always break down to the power of 9. There's simple things that you can just see that make a lot of sense, and that's what I started to understand when I was researching across a vast spectrum to prove this, because I wanted to be skeptical and then so I came from a scientific point of view, understanding the quantum physics and looking into that, but then understanding that proves chakra and spirituality, and that this is we're bridging that gap now between Western science and Eastern spirituality. What it's being slowed down effectively. So any further questions, or do we need to get building, or are we fixed?
Last, maybe funny question, but when you are trying to talk to each other remotely, you just said that you can feel it, but can you feel it only because you are more involved in this energy, because you work with this energy, or can anyone else feel it?
Try it. Yeah, well, come and try it. Well, try it. See whether you can do it. You can touch the. And you can do. Do you want to do it? So you try it. Right, move that a bit away so it stops. But no, put
I'll
it
keep
to
it away from there probably.
neck contact. Try touching. Yeah.
So you try. Oh no, you hold my hand. And then try his. Take it. Touch him first. Yeah. Now see if you can connect. See if you can gap.
What if you point with
No,
this?
We've lost the wireless connection. But it could be that it just. I felt it was like I can feel it when it's building. I can probably feel it. I could feel the energy when I was doing it earlier, and it may be that you have to be in a state of harmony or even in a state of excitement.
Because you work with energy.
It does help, yeah, you get
Yeah.
sensitised.
You start to get try and get in tune with the energies that we're getting. Yeah, it's getting your gifts back, your clairsentience, your feeling. You know, we've never had. And Michael could probably do best demonstrations because he can feel the energies pretty sensitive, a lot more than me. So yeah, it's new territory. Yeah,
Can I just mention something? So the Magrav unit that all of this power has been coming from, and the coils that we're about to make, those coils are the main component of the Magrav. They're just going to be scaled down a bit. So effectively what you're learning is the next piece. So you've learned how to make the nano, you've learned how to make the Gans, now you're going to learn how to make the coil. And those coils are very helpful from a health point of view, but they're also exactly how you would have to replicate them in order to make a Magrav unit. So each bit is, we're trying to layer it so that you learn the basic components, and then you can go home, and if you want to make a whole Magrav, you already know how to do the nano, you know how to make the Gans, you know how to make the coils, and it's just putting the pieces together then, because making an entire Magrav would be too much for 2 days.
Yeah. So I wonder, should we split into 3 groups?
So to Oliver, I'll demonstrate flame coating of copper, which I'll do with this coil, which is the inside of this health unit coil. So I'll do that. I'll just speak loudly, all right, and then I'll cover it. It's worthwhile saying that when you're doing all this building and putting the coils in, that if it's for health, then put your intention in as love or to help aid somebody who wants to do a pain pen for, or a coil if they've got a problem. You can put the intention like Dr. Emoto to give that desired effect. 95% is intent. So I'll just heat this up. And what you're looking for is to try and get a rainbow colour going through the copper. You could start, I don't know if you can see it, if it goes red, you've gone too far, you go back and start again. If you burn it till it's red, it's too hot. So you can basically see, can you see, anyone see the rainbow colours going through as you try and nano coat? And I believe that basically having the rainbow colours can help represent the different chakra from red through to ultraviolet, because that's the sort of colours that you generate through heating. So that basically is a nano-coated coil. I'll put this in some water. And what is known really is that the actual flame coating is more robust than caustic. Caustic is quite delicate because caustic has a reaction that lifts all the elements of the copper. The flame coating is more robust because it's heating the surface and then it sets it in, so it's a stronger sort of caustic, which is better for applications that require more involvement in terms of the assembly. With the health coils, we'll probably build the whole coils up and then nano coat them. I'll flip through some of the slides, but Michael, do you want to show ash coating, nano coating quickly? That'd be great. Yeah, Michael's just going to demonstrate quickly. You can use ash coating on the nano material as nano coating on the copper, which doesn't discolour it, but it does the same job.
Right, I'll just make myself a little bit of space, because I've got one or two little containers.
What coating have you just done?
Sorry?
What coating have you just done?
What?
What have you just done? What is it called?
I've nano-coated with flame, yeah, with a flame torch. It's, there's a number of different processes for it, and the other one is this ash coating.
The raw ingredient is wood ash, which is taken from a fire, ideally maybe outside if you've got a ceremonial pit. Otherwise, in this particular case, it came from my stove. It is hardwood because I believe the energetics of the wood are also within the ash. And of course, when you then mix it with water, it becomes a wee caustic. You then got the elements. You then got the elements of the wood contained within the actual medium of the plasma and the nano-coating. I use hardwoods because I try and actually put across the elements within the wood, the oak, the elm, the ash, whatever you may be doing. They are obviously, in the Celtic world, they have characteristics. And I like to put that into the actual ash I'm using so that we have a link with the natural world. Unlike the other two processes, I sense that by linking into the natural world, we have a continuity and connection with that world. And they are, through their plasma beings, assisting us in our work. So we're working in stakeholdership. This ash is finely sieved twice with a coarse sieve and a fine sieve. So that I'm going to be very careful here, because as soon as I open this, it's going to go all over the place. It is. Never mind. Yeah. So it is like a micro powder, very, very fine. And the recipe is very simple. 1 dessert spoon, 4 dessert spoons just over the level. One, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't actually have to be exact. It's not just approximate that as a measure. Then, of course, we're going to have to add some water. You can either use distilled water, and what you want to add is 250 ml. This yogurt container is a 125, so it's 2 of these will act as a measure. But I always like it coating with the ash is to put other characteristics. So I actually use Gans's. I use the CO2 Gans water, and I use the, lost it. Here it is. Well, we've lost the other water, never mind. So it's CO2 and zinc. Then you can add distilled water, but I've actually used here, I'm actually using, in this case, some spring water from a natural spring I have in the mountains, which is very highly charged energetically anyway, pH 7.6. And then I put this water against my Magrav for a few hours. So again, I've got extra potency. So it's not just, for my particular taste, it's not just the ash. I want to get as much charge, a variety of sources, because I believe that each source, each plasma being, because this is the way I look at it, is contributing to this process. So we have this. I'm going to put CO2 water, about half. Top it up with good old zinc. Now we have a concoction started. Add 1 volume of 125. My charged spring water. Right. You have 250 mils. A wooden stirrer I like to use. and normally a glove. Why? Because this is now caustic, and you don't want caustic on your skin for too much. It is a weak caustic, nevertheless it is still caustic. Once it's prepared, you're now ready to coat your devices. If I'm doing, say, infinity loops, this goes into a plate container, and the infinity loops go through the ash for about 30 seconds. That's all you need. If I'm actually using wire, I have a coil of wire of, say, 1 or 1.5 copper in a wheel, in a circle, and I just twist it round, twist it round, twist it round, so that each part of a copper ring makes contact for about 30 seconds. And then let it dry. To finish off, it sometimes needs some protection because it is wood ash, so again, it is fragile, and like the fire coating, it can come off. I was given a recipe when I was out in Switzerland by the person who showed me this. He says, if you mix 50% coconut oil to 50% olive oil, give it a mix up, and once the ash is totally fully dry, you then paint it on. So it gives a protection and a cover to the nano-coating. And that is the basic way of how I've been taught and how I actually use ash as nano-coating.
Thank you, Michael. That was brilliant. Thank you. Just looking to move on with a quick demonstration of the paint pens. Basically, I'll show a couple of clips of videos of the power units just to give an overview of that. But the paint pens, basically, using these plastic tubes, we can build the coils in the power of 9, which I'll explain when we're doing it. But basically, there's three pins. There's a centre pin that's flame nano-coated. There's a 6mm coil and a 10mm coil, all nano-coated, and you can then coat with spray the Ganses which you want to use on the CH3, CO2 and zinc, or the combinations, and then that just fits into the tube with a lid, and you've got like a directional paint pen, which I link to similar to acupuncture, because acupuncture, if you ever look at an acupuncture needle, they stick the needle in, but there's actually a tiny coil at the top which they flick. So that demonstrates like the antenna that Oliver's on about with the insects, and how we have aerials to pick up higher fields of energy that are feeding the physicality and helping heal the physicality. So the paint pens which we can make today with the coils, so if people want to do that, we can hopefully have enough coiling rigs to do all that. But I'll do a quick demonstration. I wanted to show you something on the power, although we're not going to be doing the Magrav coils. I wanted to just show a quick video which is of a meter in Michael's house, which currently measures all the energy usage throughout the day. So he has a constant on here, I don't know if you can see it clearly, 213, 211 watts. And I want to show that when we put a light on, I put a light on that's 11 watts and the energy actually goes down. So the light, by being on, is saving energy in the house, which is because it's running through this, and the light is drawing energy from the field rather than actually using it. So I'll just quickly show that. So excuse me. There's sound on here, but is it coming through, Oliver, or not? I'll just explain. It's 213. I've just put the light on. Can you see there? It drops to 199. So the light's 11 watts. Putting the light on should up it to 224, and it's actually reducing it. But you can see the plasma field off the light. The purple shimmer that's coming off is what the actual light's drawing energy into the bulb and saving energy throughout the house. So this is just, it's only a small glimpse of what, you know, the energy can do, the plasma field, by tapping into this ether. So that's just proving it again. It's gone back up to 213, if you can see yourselves. Not too clear, it shows it on here. And then I put the light back on, you can see it's come on, and it drops straight to 199 within, yeah. So that's just demonstrating that, yeah, it is real. This energy, this device can save, you know, save energy. So, but if you can see the colour, the purple shimmer is like it's drawing plasma in. It's drawing it out, drawing energy out of the field, out of what was the suit was stood in. So that's just a quick demonstration for that. These are the coils. These are what we're going to make on a smaller scale. We're not going to do the full-size ones for the handheld device. I would like to maybe show the phi ratio thing, but we'll see if that comes up. So you've got the different formations. There's diagrams at the back that show how to wire it up when we're doing that for the people who want to have a go. We'll coil the actual loops for that to 55 and 89, either the Fabianchi ratio or to the power of 9. And with the health coils, they can be 27 turns for the external one, 36 for the internal coil, which is both add up to 9, and that's Tesla knowledge for anyone who's familiar with Tesla. And then we will build them up like that and flame coat them as we go through. There's a wrapping, we've got the tools to make the connections. Everything's wound anti-clockwise to draw the field of energy. That's just another diagram of how to make the connections. That's a video of in my garage, which I'll do a demonstration here. I'll not put that one on, but I'll quickly do a demonstration while I've shown you that of the units that then give off the AC current. So we've got the field that's going to pick up any electrical item, but this is the field strength of the unit, and it picks it up everywhere and underneath. So that's showing that there's like the toroidal field of plasma coming from the unit, from the centre of the unit, but it does travel across organic materials rather than just being electrical current. The plasma mimics the AC current and then converts the AC into a plasma field that will travel, you know, across anything that's in contact around. So that's just demonstrating that it's mimicking AC current. It wouldn't do that. You know, if there's a wire coming through, you won't be able to pick up the field of the power wires. How close that needs to be to pick up the fields. So you can see the strength, and that's like 13 amp. And then this is just coming into the same feed and amplifying the energy. So that's what we're showing basically in that sense. Touched on that, I'll go on to the current for the production of the coils, which I'll demonstrate, but it's flame coating. This is for the full unit or the original builds, and that's how you interlock the coils within a coil. So one's gravitational, the internal one's gravitational, the external bigger coil is magnetic, and then they build the fields off those. And you loop it within each other, but I'll show people who want to build them or how to do all this to make the loops, and then you get the coil within the coil. You assemble them all together and then flame nano-coat in the direction from minus through to positive, from input to output. And there again, we've got this up, and that shows the radiating fields. Which is what those balls are, in my case, are crystals, but that's just hybrid use of the technology. So that's how you develop all the torus field effectively off and that's just explaining the Magrav to fit to the power unit to your home. This is some data I took from my old house now, and how it dropped. Basically, I was getting about 25% reduction on energy with having this connected over time. And then there's a quick video showing perpetual motion with a small magnet off a Magrav coil. Was just looking there. So you get like a perpetual motion field off the actual coil itself. That wasn't connected, but it was within the range of this unit, so it was being charged the same. So all the energies were coming across the table to that point. And that one's there. And just other uses for the technology. A friend in Alfriston's put these Magrav coils around his gas pipes. He doesn't advise to do it, but basically he was getting much better cost saving on his gas. So it's showing that the plasma can actually integrate with any energy use, any source. So you fit into your vehicle, it'll help burning petrol, diesel. It will assist the burning process to reduce the amount of fuel you're using. And it's the same like round pipes in the house, but because it's an electrical item, it's not advised to do that around gas pipes, so it's just what we've done on that. I don't think there's anything else particular. Anybody got any questions quickly before we start building? Yes?
I haven't quite got the coil and the pen. The pen was picking up the energy of the mains,
Yeah.
and picking up the bigger field from the Magrav, is that right?
Yeah.
But I didn't get the double coil. What is that exactly doing?
The double coils within the unit like there, is that what you're talking about, one within the next? Well, the internal coil is wound within itself and wraps around them both. So that is what's classed as the gravitational coil. So that's like drawing energy from the gravitational pull that we feel. And the external coil is classed as a magnetic, and they flow against each other. When you see the diagram that I've put at the back, they actually flow against each other, which then creates generates the field offset, where it starts to rebound. There's a guy called Dan Winter who explains the molecular change. It's like a bounce rebound of I think it's an icosahedrodeca plantonic type solid. So we're dealing with the sacred geometry solids, and he says it's like an oscillation which is perpetual. So that's where the energy is drawing from. So if you want a bit of a scientific explanation of that, Dan Winter put in Kesh Magrav, and he's got a model and he shows how it collapses and rebounds, and that's where the actual energy is drawn from, or how the mechanics of that work.
So to make the saving, you've got to have one of these double coils. And where do you put it in the house?
You initially put it at the furthest point away from your mains coming in, because the actual unit nano-coats the whole wiring in your house. And by nano-coating your wiring, your resistance becomes zero. So when they say your wire's old and it's black and it needs rewiring, that's when it's most efficient, because the energy's flowing on the outside instead of down the matter state. So instead of it flowing through the copper, which gives you resistance, it flows on the nano exterior, like in a computer or computer chip, where the energy's on the outside, so it flows like it becomes a resistance of a diamond, which you can demonstrate with an ohmmeter, which I've got, against a standard piece of copper and a nano-coated, and you see the difference in resistance on that, that's what makes your house initially run more efficient, because once you nano-coat the whole house, all your appliances are getting the energy direct to it rather than having the resistance of the wire. Similar to like your Wi-Fi and things, where you get the copper, you get a drop from from your main box. If you're the furthest away, you get the slowest connection because it's the resistance of the copper. So you get fibre to your box, which is super fast fibre, and then if they only run copper to your house, you get a drop in the speed because of the resistance in the copper. So that's why fibre optics were brought in, because that's less resistance. So yeah, that covers that. Is there any other questions? Anybody? Yeah.
Why do you put it as far away from the main line?
Just so that the energies and all the electrical appliances run, start to nano-coat from that back, so it'll go through and migrate. It's like a migration of nano-coating of your whole house. It does work better, but it will do it both ways, because I didn't do that. But because it's, the way I describe it is in terms of like your physicality, and you've got your heart pumping, and it pumps your blood around your body in one direction. Well then when you go onto your nervous system or your emotional body, it fires in both directions, and that's what plasma does. So it can go up and downstream. It doesn't go in one direction. It'll go both. Yeah, well, it just means that the energy is automatically coming from the furthest point, and it's coming back down there. Yeah, it just does it faster. But Mr. Cash reckons it nano-coats faster. Ideally, you have one furthest away and one near, so that you can meet in the middle, basically. But yeah.
So do you wire those coils up to a three-pin plug and plug it in a socket?
You basically, on this one, I've just split the live wire, so there's no way of getting a shock off this, but it will transfer the energy through. I've split the live wire and put capacitors, which you need for the AC current, to trigger it so that it understands it's alternating, because plasma is a direct current like the sun. It's more of a direct energy. So I've just split that on a strip plug, and basically, even though I've got that, whatever I run through the strip plug, it's actually still going back and will be nano-coating back to the source as it stood there. That's why over time this field that I've been measuring will go lower and lower down here. This plasma field will end up transmitting across all surfaces and down lower. That's what you start to read. The field grows, or seems to constantly be growing. And it goes, like I've got videos of it in my old house where it was all over the ceilings. I could pick up the fields all throughout the house, in the corners, and it was basically assisting holding energy in for heat, because the heat, the heating didn't come on as often. So yeah, it's got benefits. It will give you, and effectively it's meant to give you, feed you the energy as well as a unit. It's like a holistic type of power device, but when the off-grid one comes through, then there shouldn't be any stopping it really in that effect. But I've got a small book just showing like the earth grids and the ley lines of the plasmatic grid lines on the planet, which are generally where there's any mass. So like the Eiffel Tower, there's a key ley line there, which is part of the way of suppressing, and power lines and churches and nuclear power stations are all on key grid lines for some strange reason. Maybe it's to keep the natural energy of the planet suppressed a bit, so that we still have to keep paying for energy effectively. So yeah, well, anybody who's interested, if there's people who we may get traffic jams with coils and that, but people are welcome to just flick through books. I've got one over there, Greg Braden on fractal time, and different people that I've sourced information from, and yeah, I think that will cover it. There's the fire ratio video, is that on here or not? That one, I just thought it'd be nice to show people.
Oh, I can find it, it's not on that.
Right, it doesn't matter for now, but there's a good video that shows the fire ratio of how the universe is growing in terms of the spiral and that, but maybe we'll show that tomorrow.
Or what to this afternoon, because I looping.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, yeah. Excellent. So any more questions, anyone, before we start building? Yes?
How do you connect it to the gas?
That was a friend called Roy. He basically just, he's done a description that he's basically used neodymium magnets that can reduce gas and the magnetic effects on fuel consumption for exhaust systems. We've always known about using magnets around motors, and it does energize the particles and give additional energy. But he's basically just wrapped the type of coils round a gas pipe before it goes in. So it's similar to like what Oliver was saying with charging water and putting pipes round Gans around the water, then it energizes the water. Then this is the same sort of effect, but using the coils round gas pipes. So maybe it should be tried with Gans water and that.
Why should we try that for not electrical engineers? Why is that dangerous?
Because I think he'd used the charge through. I think he was just covering himself. He didn't want people to go and start using coils and then blow up the house effectively. So
short the copper pipe maybe.
Yeah. So these are just different people are experimenting, because I've not done this. This is just different people trying out different methods to save energy and trying to put the applications across to that. Yeah.
Could you explain the pen that's flashed when it picked up the field?
Yeah, well, I'll do a quick demonstration to show it goes through. I don't know if Oliver wants to. So we've got the field that can pick up, and then I can touch anywhere on it, and it'll go extend through me, and then Oliver can take it.
This is the big one, isn't it? 51.
Around maybe about there, that's going to come out, okay.
Yeah.
Just take it back a bit.
My mate used to say.
Oh, I see it then. Took it back, didn't it?
Yes.
Next time.
In the ones you made, John, I thought you left the longer.
Yeah.
Slightly longer.
And then he's left plain bits at the end.
Yeah. And he's played around at the top or whatever.
Yeah.
Is,
That looks a bit like the thing on Chalice Well, you know, on the cover.
See, I've just done two here with which. Okay, let's take this one out. See, what shall I do? What shall I do in this one? Okay, so has anyone
I'll probably make a pair of glasses.
Well,
It just
you've
come
seen
around.
it like that. Well, you could make it go around like this. Hey, look at this.
You get children making all sorts of...
See, it's the imagination, and okay, that's a kind of simple one like that. You can twirl it around like this, bring it down like that, bring this one back down to here again. You want it to do something like really. But see, already you've already got a shape there. This could be round back around here, like that. You can go. It's maybe not
That's
the
nice.
best.
I like that one.
But see, you're creative. You're the artist.
Yes,
You can make it anything you want.
Oh, good.
Shape in like that. 30 seconds. Simple as that.
So it just has a brief little dip twice, and
Yeah, and
like those
and it's
things.
nano-coated, and it's also got the Ganses in it as well. So you've got the CO2, zinc oxide, as well as the nano-coating. So
could you leave it in overnight or no
don't
need
need to. 1 minute, like that. Put it on here, let it dry, hang it up.
Right.
So you've done your bits now, you can go and try and
Do you want this?
Yes, please, Simon. We've got to go 155 plus a bit.
Okay.
Because we've got a bit knotted up, so to speak.
Let's do that. Oh.
And I want to take it just momentarily and make it it takes effort, doesn't it?